individuals claiming to have witnessed UFOs are testifying in an historic hearing on Capitol Hill today.
Hi YouTubers, this is another video from Evelyn, your friendly neighborhood reviewer. Today we're going to do a different video, something different to reflect a big news that has just been released this week. I bet everybody will know what I'm about to say about the whistleblower from Pentagon testifying in front of Congress of other two witnesses about the military underreporting on unidentified objects. But now the new term, not UFOs anymore, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenons. They have other acronyms, I'm not gonna go on that. But before we start to unravel this development, I do plead for everybody to keep an open mind towards this video. Like the same way we don't know what happens when we die, we should keep the same way because nobody knows for sure unless Elon Musk really does in the next 5 years take his rocket to Mars, or other people from a different planet come down here. Literally we'll never know. We just never know. And I guess with the week that we've had so far with the what's going on in America with the trial against censorship and with the UFO case going on about, we have to be ready to be open to this type of news. So what happened, a former intelligence officer by the name of David Grusch, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's surname, ran in front of Congress to confirm some facts. I saw the highlights of this 4-hour meeting and I saw as much as I could, in which different politicians of Congress was going through the data. And one thing that we have to be aware, this guy David Grusch, he used to be in a high level within the Pentagon, so he had knowledge about these certain projects that was not revealed to the public. And what was even more interesting in this meeting with Congress, that the people standing asking these three witnesses, David Grusch and this other guy called David Fravor, I cannot remember his name. Yeah, David Fravor, that guy who famously was part of the Navy, who was in the jet that went and filmed the tic-tac shaped type of flying saucer that could not be explained by the current law of physics. And another Navy pilot of Ryan Graves, who also testified under Congress and like in official documents that you also saw this like weird flying saucer for all intents and purposes. Now, a lot of people are gonna say, they're gonna come with their own theories that why would the aliens even bother visiting us? We're just so far behind in technology. But to have it under oath, under testimony that the military knows about the reporting from their different army personnel or, you know, the Navy pilots or strange flying things flying in the sky. And what was confirmed, that the military had been underreporting this to the people within Congress, the government. So the purpose of this meeting was to give more transparency to the American people. But then again, I live in London. I'm born, raised, I'm a British citizen. So we know that there's always been that special relationship, as they say, between the UK and the US. So anything what's going on in the US, kind of reflects back what's going on in the UK. One thing I really found was extremely hilarious, the opening statement from the Republican politician from Tennessee of Tim Burchett. He opened up saying that this is not about finding, little green men or flying saucers, but just uncovering the truth of what the military is hiding against their own politicians. So the key highlights to take away from the meeting is David Grusch confirmed to another this other woman, I can't remember her name, I'll probably put it down here, confirming if the military picked up alien crafts. He said yes, David Grusch, yeah, the military has picked up alien crafts that apparently crash landed. And the woman politician said, what about the biological materials that was picked up? Was it human or non-human? And David Grusch confirmed under oath that it was non-human biological materials that was picked up. Now, a lot of people could be saying, oh, he's lying, but one thing that was highlighted, another interview that I saw from this Australian journalist, that David Grusch, under law, cannot lie. because they're going to fact check, because apparently in America there's a system for whistleblowers, I think, to make it impartial, to make it legitimate, that they will investigate every single claim that one person as a whistleblower says to see whether he says is true. If he's lying, he'll go to jail. That's one thing I want everybody to remember this. It's not going to be an easy thing to tell the whole world, I know, that the Pentagon is having these secret under the cover projects to reverse engineer these crafts. That's the biggest takeaway for me from this entire meeting that was going on. So the bit I'm about to read from the news reporting, Grusch also claimed that he'd been told by multiple credible intelligence officials that the US government has recovered a non-human aircraft that had biological pilots inside of them. Biological pilots inside of them. Like, it makes me to think that each time that the government picks up something that's non-human, probably turns out an alien, maybe, like, you know, when you're driving in the motorway or the highway and your car breaks down and you're like flagging people for help. I think it's like that, but us as humans, we don't stop to think, you know, how can we help a stranded person? We're like, let's capture it, dissect it, look at the technology and exploit it to the, you know, the max. Now the bit from the other pilot of Ryan Graves, he says that he told the committee that he and more than 30 aircrew members and veterans have experienced UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, along with members of Congress who have confided in him. Graves said as an F-18 pilot in the Red Rippers, their squadron was split by UAP during a training mission near Virginia Beach in 2014. Now, Ryan Graves described this object as a dark gray or black inside with a transparent sphere. It was about 15 feet in diameter. It came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft. The mission commander ended the flight and the squadron submitted a safety report. Graves continued. The story is more common than we expect, Graves said. More than 30 witnesses had told his group about similar sightings. Often there are veterans and decades of flying experience, he added. Graves also said UAPs are in our airspace but are grossly underreported. Now back to the ex-Pentagon, officer. Grusch spoke next, saying, providing details about how the US government has intact and partially intact extraterrestrial vehicles. He had previously said the US had run a top-secret UFO retrieval program for decades and claimed the Vatican was involved in the first ever UFO crash. Now this is another bit. One thing that was surprising, this didn't really hit so much in the newspapers. Yes, the British media has reported this in the last couple of weeks, because I think the genesis of all of this was a couple of weeks ago, the Chinese spy air balloons that was going in the sky. The Biden government apparently confirmed, I think 2 out of the 5 were from China, but the other 3 or 2, they had no idea where it came from. And what was more mysterious, that these sightings were seen like almost on the same day, one in Hawaii, one in, I think it was in Uruguay, and then most notably from Canada to America. So I really do think that in the next 10, hopefully be less than 10 years, that the government will be able to tell us the proper things, that we have recovered alien, something that is this world, and for us not to be afraid, because it'd be pretty sad for us to think we're the only living things in this world. It'd be pretty sad to think about that, because there's many more planets, and like the way we have a diversity of species with our own planet, who goes to say that there's different species out of this planet? Us as humans, we're one type of species, and we have animals, and then this and that. So let's keep an open mind, not to be fearful. And of course, I don't know how this will affect religion per se, because the whole stick about, the Catholic faith and the Christian faith is the words of a God level entity that is typically portrayed with, a long, an old man with long gray hair and a long beard, but more like, this is just some ideas. I haven't got evidence myself, but I'm just more like, unless somebody can prove to me what happens after when we die, we can say the same thing about life that's not from this world. We should keep an open mind, not be fearful. Of course, because it could be like, you know, it could be like Independence Day for all we know. They want to, you know, conquer us, or it could be another thing that is just alien travelers going around from different Earth to Earth, seeing what's what, and they may have knowledge to impart. So leave your comment. We're at the end. It's 11 minutes this video. Leave your comments down below if this is going to make people think more about what's life out of there, and maybe this could be the next step of human evolution, because we have, before ending this, we know humans have evolved. There's some disputes about whether humanity, the evolution of humanity being resetted every 10,000 years due to a cataclysm, as they say, like the Big Bang. We don't know, well, we have more discoveries coming about. So maybe we're going through the next evolution at this moment. Next, you know, 20 years, we might get in contact with people from different planets that will be imparting their knowledge. Maybe, but this is just, you know, ideas, theories, maybe not, like the way it will never know until it actually happens. But to have the American government and having these 3 witnesses under oath, if they are lying, they'll be committing perjury and, you know, going to prison, but the military acknowledging that they have, you know, multitude of video recordings of unidentified objects. Very exciting news for me personally last week, to see that there's something more than what's going on in this earth. And I know other people are gonna say, well, you know, that could be, but how's that going to affect us? By all means, you know, fair enough. I'm not gonna be the one sitting down going tracking, looking for aliens, but at least, you know, it opens my senses that there's more than what there is in this earth. So as I leave you always, stay safe, and to any new viewers, really appreciate it. We can hit the subscribe button, leave the channel growing, and as I leave you always, bye.